Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome here today. Premier Doug Ford, Minister Cho, it is our tremendous honor and privilege to welcome you here to Wasaga Beach, the longest freshwater beach in the world. And I will say, Mr. Premier, you truly are the dream team. Sorry.
That's all right. No
truly are the dream team. I want to acknowledge some other important guests who have joined us here this morning. I see all our members of our amazing council here in Wasaga Beach are here joining us. MPP Brian Saunderson, our great friend of Wasaga Beach. MPP Andrew Dowie. Warden Basil Clark and CAO Mark Aiken from the County of Simcoe. Andy, Lorraine, Rick, Michelle, Judith, and of course my wonderful wife Joanne, thank you so much for being here to support me. I want to acknowledge our incredible municipal town staff. If you work for the town of Wasaga Beach, please raise your hand. I want you all to know how truly valued you are. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of your hard work and dedication to our team, to the public you serve, and to the citizens here in Wasaga Beach in this great community. And I want you all to know, to our team, thank you. Thank you. You know, 2 years ago when we started advocating strongly for a new deal with the province to make more funding available for Wasaga Beach Provincial Park and Nancy Island, we dared all levels of government and our own citizens here in Wasaga Beach to imagine a different kind of Wasaga Beach. Not one that would leave its remarkable history or iconic beach vibe behind, but one that could offer all of that, along with premium beachfront hotels, great attractions, in addition to charming cottages and privately owned small business. We said, imagine Wasaga Beach that could offer cabanas, food, drinks, umbrella rentals, on parts of our 14 kilometers of sandy beach. Imagine Wasaga Beach with a nationally significant historic site, Nancy Island, that is celebrated locally, that is integrated with our local school curriculum, that thrives year-round with programming and attractions from visitors across Canada and around the world. Imagine spending long weekends fishing and barbecuing with the kids, watching rock legends perform live, celebrating Canada Day on the longest freshwater beach in the world, or simply watching movies under the stars. Only to meet up later with friends and enjoying a great meal at one of our great waterfront restaurants and watching the most beautiful sunsets on the planet right here in Wasaga Beach and on the longest freshwater beach in the world. Not too far, just steps away from the mouth of the Nottawasaga River where it meets Georgian Bay, where just upstream, just over here, a pivotal war and battle was fought in 1812. And that battle is the reason today that we are a British colony, not American. And it is the reason why our borders in this great country are as they are. This is our vision. Imagine the jobs, the investment, the multi-day tourism that this would attract to Wasaga Beach, Simcoe County, and of course Ontario. This, as I said, is our vision. Tourism is our bread and butter here in Wasaga Beach. Tourism supports our local families, our local businesses. It helps us to build homes and parks and schools and roads and water towers, and it's a massive economic driver for our province. I have always said, Mr. Premier, that when you invest in Wasaga Beach and making it more viable, more sustainable year-round, and that type of destination, you're investing in Ontario. A stronger Ontario. Getting it done. So, Mr. Premier, Minister Cho, that's why we're so excited to welcome you here today. For over 100 years, Wasaga Beach has been Ontario's summer playground. But it was always intended to be much more than that. Our work, Mr. Premier, begins today. And we couldn't be more proud and have a better partner than you, Premier Ford, and the province of Ontario. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. That's great.
Good morning, everyone. I love occasions like this. This is what I call a home game. I'm Brian Saunderson. I'm MPP for Simcoe Grey, and I have the great pleasure of being here today to introduce my colleagues. It's a fantastic announcement, and what a great opportunity to do it today on the eve of our first long weekend, the unofficial opening of summer, a weekend that has seen the beaches, the biggest freshwater beach in the world, get crowded and get ready to launch a very vibrant tourist season in our municipality of Wasaga Beach. This is an area that has a long history, and part of today's announcement will recognize that important history going back to 1812, which, as the mayor said, a pivotal battle was fought here when the British took 2 frigates, but in the process they scuttled the Nancy, which was later discovered in 1924. And now it has its own facility, and our government is committing to work with the town of Wasaga Beach to help develop that and develop tourism, develop an economic strategy as we move forward. This is a government that recognizes there is life north of Highway 89, and this riding has been a beneficiary, and today's announcement is a continuation of that hard work that Premier Ford and Minister Cho and this government has started and is going to continue. So, having said that, I'm now going to introduce our Minister of Tourism, Culture and Gaming, Minister Stan Cho, who's been a big part of this, to make the announcement, and then to introduce our Premier, who is leading the charge to make Ontario stronger, to protect Ontario, and make sure that we grow in a sustainable way. Minister Cho.
Thank you very much, Brian. You say it's a home game. I hope the Leafs get at least one more of those as well. Proud to be joined here with the Deputy Mayor. Mayor, Your Worship, thank you so much for having us, as well as PA Andrew Dowie. You know, Brian's being quite modest. He is one of those guys in caucus who never stops advocating for his area. He didn't stop when it came to today's announcement, and simply put, we would not be standing here without PA Saunderson's efforts. So thank you, Brian, and congratulations. Let me start by saying I promise when I come back to this beach, I will never be dressed like this again. It is great to be here, though, and it makes me proud to be standing here. Let's not sugarcoat it. We are going through some difficult times, some uncertain times, and it makes you really appreciate what you have right here at home. We are lucky. We get to live in a province that is massive. It has 2 seasons, two time zones, actually, 4 seasons, of course, and is so big it can fit 14 European countries within its borders. We have 400,000 freshwater rivers and lakes, 20% of the world's fresh water, and of course, people come here from all over the world for a better quality of life, just like my parents did from South Korea 50 years ago. We are truly lucky, truly blessed to be Ontarians and Canadians, and I'm truly proud, more than ever, to call myself a Canadian. Of course, Wasaga Beach is no exception to that. The world's longest freshwater beach, as the mayor has said, and it's something we should take great pride in, and our government is going to show that. In fact, over the coming weeks, starting on May 26, you will see a marketing campaign that will showcase some of those moments of pride, the things we have in this province that we should be proud of. And you'll start to see that marketing campaign on various platforms, including during what we hope is a long, long playoff run for our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll see how that goes tonight, of course. But the point is, we are proud to be here in this province. We have a marketing campaign that will show that pride. And speaking of somebody who's proud to be Canadian and live in this great province of ours, let me be very clear. Without Premier Ford, or Captain Canada as we call him, where would we be right now in our fight against the President of the United States and making sure that we stand up for Canadian interests? I don't get to introduce my boss very often, but today I'm proud. Everyone, the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario.
Got to clean you up. Anyways, that's great. Well, thank you, Stan, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be here in beautiful Wasaga Beach, one of Ontario's top tourist destinations, and I'm so glad to be joined by Minister Stan Cho, and you heard the hometown boy, as I say, a huge advocate for this whole area. Brian, thank you, and Andrew Dowie. And Mayor, I can't say enough about you. You're just incredible. The Mayor, you know, he is the champion of all champs, because he's been advocating for this for years, I guess, years. But I love your vision. We hopped in the car today, and he brought me on a little tour, and thank goodness he did, because I didn't realize the massive potential and the vision. You're the best tour guide I've ever had, and this is going to be, it's spectacular now, but it's going to be even more spectacular. And I just want to thank the mayor again and all other folks from the town of Wasaga Beach. I know it's a real team effort here, and I know, Stan, you were saying you aren't coming back with your suit on. Never again. I can guarantee you one thing: you'll never see me with a Speedo on the beach. You'll mistake me as a beach walrus or something. They'll harpoon me as soon as I go out there. But anyways, folks, we know that President Trump's tariffs and the economic uncertainty they're creating are being felt in every corner of our province, in every part of our economy. That includes Ontario's tourism sector, which adds $33 billion to our provincial economy every single year. And it also employs 326,000 workers across the province, including right here in Wasaga Beach. Our government has a plan to protect Ontario workers and communities in the face of the uncertainty, and help build a stronger, more resilient economy that can stand up to President Trump and anything else that comes our way. We're investing in workers, in infrastructure, and communities, just like we're doing here, and this includes tourism sector right across our province. Folks, Ontario's home to some of the most beautiful, incredible tourism sites anywhere in the world, from Niagara Falls to incredible provincial parks, and of course, the world's longest freshwater beach right here in Wasaga. As part of our plan to protect Ontario, we're investing in these destinations to protect our tourism industry and create new opportunities for workers and communities across this province. That's why I'm thrilled to announce that we're investing nearly $38 million to support Destination Wasaga. That's incredible, and thank you, everyone. That includes $25 million to rebuild Nancy Island, the historic site. That is a good one. I'm a big history buff, so I love these stories. The historic site of an important naval battle during the War of 1812. And that's why I said, I think President Trump's still holding a grudge that we burnt the White House down in 1812. So anyways, we're also investing $11 million to upgrade the town's downtown roads to support better access for tourists and residents, and the creation of more than 3,000 homes. I couldn't believe the price of these properties you were telling me on the beach and the waterfront. That's going to create more tax revenue, which is fantastic. And we're investing $2 million more to support local tourism planning and downtown revitalization. We're also going to begin the process of transferring part of the provincially owned beachfront in Wasaga Beach Provincial Park to the town to support their tourism strategy. I think that's a big one. That's excluding the 38 million. So that's huge. On the condition that it remains a public beach for everyone to enjoy. These investments, this plan, will support Wasaga Beach's transformation into Destination Wasaga. With world-class beaches, a revitalized downtown, and a renewed Nancy Island historic site, I want to thank the mayor. Mayor, you've just shown incredible leadership on this initiative, and obviously, I know as well, you can never get anything done with your fabulous team, our fabulous team. I love the collaboration, cooperation, and that's the way we run the government. And I look forward to coming back to see the progress in months ahead. We're standing up for Ontario by promoting homegrown tourism, celebrating our heritage, and making Ontario a top destination for visitors from across Canada and around the world. I want to thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now take questions from the media. Please come to the mic and line up behind me and state your name and outlet. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. First question.
Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Premier. Mike
Thank you.
Lang with CTV Barrie.
Mike.
First of all, how do you deal with the challenges of balancing between funding tourism and housing?
Well, I think you have to separate them. Tourism is tourism, but housing, we're doing everything we can from helping out on the DCs, which is important. I was just telling the mayor, if you don't support and create the environment and the conditions for companies to build, they just won't build. And 100% of zero is zero. So we believe, and we're cutting the red tape and regulations. We want to standardize planning right across the board. I don't know, Mayor, if you've seen this, but I was talking to my housing minister, and he said he saw the binders when he first became minister. He had, the building codes, two binders this thick, and I'm thinking that's just red tape and regulations. I said, get a team together, spread it out across Ontario, get people, and cut that in half, and just make it easier and quicker for towns and cities to deal with. It just makes it so much easier to get things built. But we're going to build. We're going to build like we've never built before, but we have to have certainty. And certainty, the foundation of our healthcare, our education, of our infrastructure, roads, it's one thing. It's called the economy. And we have to create that, the economic plan to move forward. And we're seeing $70 billion so far of investments here in Ontario. There's over 1 million more people working now than there was 7 years ago when we took office. So we're creating that environment by never raising a tax. I will never, ever raise a tax. We've seen new revenues up towards $70 billion come in without raising a tax, reducing the cost of doing business by $8 billion, putting money back into people's pockets. You put money into people's pockets, and guess what? A family of 4 from Toronto and GTA will say, hey, let's go up to Wasaga Beach. Let's rent a little cabin. Let's bring the kids up there. When people don't have money in their pockets, they don't go out for dinner. They don't go on little trips. And that's what we're going to do, is continue making sure we create an environment for companies to thrive and employ people.
Thank you. My second question, how will the beachfront be managed between Ontario Parks and the municipality going forward?
Well, I know the mayor mentioned that, and I think it was the Ministry of Environment, that you feel like they need to take care of the parks a little better.
MECP.
Yeah. So we're going to hand a big chunk of the parks over to the municipality, but we have a responsibility. What we own should be taken care of, and that's why I have PA Andrew Dowie here, so he can see it firsthand.
Thank you.
My name is Jessica Owen. I'm a reporter with Collingwood Today. There are protesters here protesting Bill 5. Have you heard criticism of Bill 5? What is it? And are you taking it into account as it works its way through the process?
Yeah, we just have to make sure we get through a lot of these regulations and red tape. I respect the environment, and we have to continue to always be conscious of that. We're always going to have the best environmental assessments there are, but environmental assessment should not take 2, 3, 4 years. We can have the highest standards in the world when it comes to environmental assessments and get things built. It's similar to mines. That's really where this Bill 5 is coming into play. Folks, when you have investors around the world come here and they need a return on investment, and they hear it takes 15 to 17 years to get a drill in the ground. And by the way, these drills, are you ready for this, are 4.5 inch in diameter. So there was one company that, I've told this story before, a few weeks ago, called me up and said, Doug, I'm sorry, but we've been trying to get a boring hole done, 4.5 inch diameter. It's taken 7 years. They're telling us it'll take another 7 years. So I've directed my board of directors to take the $500 million, $500 million, and reinvest it somewhere else. I think he said Australia. And that's what we're up against. You can go anywhere in the world, get a permit in 24 months, a year. Up in Ontario, 15 years. And that's that excuse the pun, but there's a gold mine. You know, Alberta's oil is equal to our critical minerals that the whole world wants. That's where we can pay for more health care, pay for education, infrastructure, reduce taxes, put money back into people's pockets, attract businesses here. But we have to get shovels in the ground and cut through this red tape, or we'll have zero investment. We need to get it done. We need to do it properly. We're always working side by side with First Nations communities in the north. We're putting $3 billion out there for equity that they can invest in as well. We have training programs for the Indigenous communities in tens of millions of dollars. We're giving scholarships. We're bringing health care, roads. A lot of these communities are on diesel. They're going to get electricity now. People think it's just common. We get up and we go down the street and get a bag of milk. These folks don't. They're trying to survive with diesel. And God forbid they run out of diesel in the far north. You're done. So we're really moving along and working collaboratively with communities.
Ian Adams from Simcoe.com. I'm not sure whether this is a question for the Premier or Minister Cho. In terms of the $25 million for Nancy Island, do we know exactly what we're doing with the island? Is it getting leveled and rebuilt? And what's the process, and when does that work start?
Well, I think that would be for the mayor and Stan, if you want to jump in there too. But Mayor, what are you doing with the $25 million?
We're going to spend it. I can promise you that. The municipality, as I've said before, understands better than anybody how important our beach is to us, how important our history, and how important Nancy Island is to us. Born and raised here, I spent a ton of time as a child on Nancy Island. I could recite the whole movie because it was so exciting and invigorating and important in my mind. And so we are going to work exceptionally close with our friends at the province and Minister Cho and his team and our team to revitalize. We've got friends here of the Nancy Island today who we will absolutely bring into this fray because they have a ton of that history as well from the past, and we'll work together and we'll make Nancy Island what it once was before and even better.
I'll just add to that a little bit. Yes, so the purview of Nancy Island will move within the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Gaming. But of course, the actual specifics will be run by Huronia Parks. They've done a great job. You've got Discovery Harbour not too far from here as a living example of that. So we're very much putting it in the hands of people who know what they're doing to make sure we capture what Nancy Island is actually capable of. I mean, I think if I know my history correctly, we got 2 of the American ships in that battle of 1812. So, hey, 2 for us, 1 for them, because they took down the HMS Nancy. But the point is, we want to showcase that history in a meaningful way and put it in the hands of people who are able to run it effectively and efficiently. Thank you.
And just a quick follow-up. In terms of the transfer of parts of the provincial park, I'm assuming that includes the stand that's behind us. Does that include some of the orphan, I know Mayor Smith knows what I'm talking about, some of the orphan properties, I guess, that were taken over by the province probably 55 years ago?
Yeah, great question. By the way, he was showing me some of these properties, and I know the mayor was mentioning he wants to purchase a couple and subdivide and make some money, which is a very smart business person thinking that way. But it's a little mixed up. I heard there's a whole bunch in MEC in the Ministry of Environment, some at Infrastructure Ontario. So the mayor has offered to put a map together and just show us until we can all consolidate it, put it all into infrastructure, then look at the town if they want to purchase some of that property by all means. But the mayor's a real visionary. So is his whole team. I've never seen anything like it. I've visited a lot of towns, but this is spectacular because they have a vision, and it's not just like a vision for tomorrow. It's a vision for decades to come. It's really impressive.
This will be the last reporter.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, Jamie from City TV, and this question is sent in to me by Alan Carter. The budget calls for more of the notifications for drivers for speed enforcement and red light cameras. Why? What more do they need to be aware of a speed trap?
Well, some, not everyone, but the city's using it as a revenue source, and it's a little unfair. They hide them all over the place, and if you're going 10 kilometers an hour over, you're getting dinged. So it's a real revenue opposed to safety. I always want to make sure I differentiate between school zones. Everyone should be crawling through a school zone, but they're putting them all over the place, and they're creating endless amounts of money, and people aren't too happy when they get dinged for 10 kilometers over, or 5 kilometers over. It's a revenue tool. So all we're saying is not to take them away. I don't like them, but let's put signs up. The whole purpose of a radar trap is to slow people down. So let's slow people down by putting big signs that there's a radar ahead, and we'll go from there. That bee's going to go in my mouth any second here.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, no, not again.
Almost. No. I dinged myself bad shaving this morning, man. That thing wouldn't stop bleeding on the side. But Jamie, you're itching to get on that beach, I know. With your souped up car, Mayor, keep an eye on this guy. He's a car guy. He'll be rolling down there with the hood down, his Speedo on, his hair flowing in the wind.
So it's a planted question, Mr. Ford.
Yeah.
The next question comes in from Mark McAllister. The budget had a lot of relief in it for the future impacts of tariffs, but how about direct relief for taxpayers and the cost of living going up? Are we looking at rebate checks too with that? And if you can comment also on that $5 billion fund.
Yeah, so the $5 billion is to protect people, protect communities, protect businesses. We're going to focus on the businesses that have been hit by the tariffs right off the hop. They're going to be getting $1 billion to make sure they keep keep on their feet and keep creating jobs. But I ran on protecting Ontario, and I'm going to protect every single person, every business, every community, no matter what. And I always say with a budget, you look at it two ways, and Peter Betham-Falvey and Caroline Mulroney, they're spectacular. I'm so blessed to have them, and I know my colleagues agree. You do two things in a budget. Either slash and burn, that I've never done, I never will. I don't believe in slashing and burning. When we have tough economic times, you pour money into the infrastructure, into projects like this, keep people working. We'll get through it, just exactly like the pandemic. You spend a little bit when you're finding it's really tough, and you make it up a year or 2 years down the road. But we have a good path to balance. As Peter Betham-Falvey mentioned, my great Minister of Finance, we're in the best financial shape we've ever been in 15 years. We have the best financial record in all of Canada. We have some money put away for crisis that may come upon us. But the budget was fabulous because it was about investing another $6 billion into healthcare. Folks, we are spending unprecedented amount in healthcare. We're up to $91 billion. When I tell our counterparts that across the country, or tell our governors that come up to meet me, they can't believe it. That I call it an investment. It's not spending. It's investing into the future of our healthcare, into technology, into doctors and nurses. We've registered over 16,000 new doctors, 100,000 new nurses, building new medical schools. That's what we do when you find it tough on with President Trump coming after us.
Thank
We never rule that out because similar to the last time, we saw $3 billion more revenues come in, and it went to our cabinet, and it took us about 3 seconds to say, and by the way, we're the only government that says this, it's not our money. It's the people's money. It's not our money. It's your money that you're paying into the system. If we have extra money, that $3 billion goes back into people's pockets. That stirs the economy. You put $200 in every man, woman, and child's pocket, it may not seem a lot, but it allows them to go out, like I said, maybe for dinner. Maybe let's go to Wasaga Beach and spend that money. Let's buy my kids sneakers, or it just stirs up the economy again. So I always say the worst place to give your money is the government. You can spend it so much better than the government. And we'll never rule that out of giving more money back to the people in all forms, no matter if it's getting rid of the tolls or the one fare. I know it doesn't affect people up here, but if you go down to Barrie, you hop on a GO train, it's one fare. If you hop on the TTC or the Mississauga Transit, I've never, ever raised a tax. I will never raise a tax. I'll keep putting money back into people's pockets, into businesses, because when you do that, businesses will invest at number one in their people. They'll invest in their technology, into the infrastructure, be it building or into equipment and technology. So that's what we believe in, and it's worked because we've seen massive investment around the world coming to Ontario. But folks, thank you so much. I was so impressed. I'm so happy I came. I just want to thank everyone. I always want to thank our first responders. I met the chief. Thank you for all your work, and along with our OPP, paramedics, and everyone here, part of Wasaga Beach. And by the way, the mayor reminded me, but I got to remind everyone in Ontario, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not Wasaga Beach that everyone calls it. It's Wasaga Beach. Is that correct?